Have you ever thought about what you'd do if a heart attack struck, right here, right now, and no one else was around? It's a chilling thought, but for many people over 60, it's a very real risk. And here's the truth most people never hear. Those first few minutes aren't just important, they're everything. Your actions in that window can quite literally decide whether you live or die. That's why this video is so important. I'm going to walk you through 7 simple steps that could save your life if you ever find yourself having a heart attack alone. You don't need medical training. You don't need fancy equipment. Just this knowledge. And I promise, some of the most powerful steps are the ones nearly everyone overlooks. Now, before we dive in, I just want to say thank you for being here. By watching this, you're already taking your health seriously, and that's something to be proud of. If this kind of life-saving content matters to you, please support the channel by liking this video and subscribing. And if you've ever worried about facing a medical emergency alone, drop a 1 in the comments so I know we're in this together. Let's begin, because your life is worth protecting. Now, let's begin with the very first, and perhaps most critical step, recognizing the early warning signs of a heart attack. Because let me tell you this, when you're alone, what you notice in those first moments can mean everything. Contrary to what you see in movies, heart attacks don't always arrive like a thunderclap. There's not always dramatic chest clutching or sudden collapse. Often, it's much quieter and much easier to ignore. In fact, for many seniors, a heart attack begins with symptoms so subtle, they're mistaken for stress, indigestion, or just an off day. That's why awareness is your best weapon. Knowing what to look for, across your whole body, not just your chest, can give you the time to act before the situation turns critical. So, what should you be paying attention to? It often starts with a pressure, tightness, or squeezing in the center of your chest. This isn't always painful. It can feel more like someone's pressing a heavy book right against your sternum. It might build slowly, come and go in waves, or last longer than a few minutes. If that sensation returns more than once or lingers, take it seriously. But don't stop at your chest. Shortness of breath, even without chest pain, is another major red flag. You might feel like you've just climbed stairs when all you did was stand up or move across the room. And that breathlessness, it's not just a nuisance. It's your body waving a warning flag. You may also feel discomfort in your left arm, your jaw, your neck, or even your upper back. These sensations can feel like a dull ache, a strange burning, or a stabbing twinge. And here's something most people don't realize. These symptoms can be even less typical in women and older adults. Instead of clear chest pain, you might just feel nauseous, unusually tired, or have a strange sense of doom. Take Richard, a 74-year-old who shared his story with me during a follow-up visit. One morning, he noticed what he thought was heartburn just under his collarbone. It wasn't sharp, but it lingered. Then came the cold sweat, the shortness of breath, and a memory. He'd read about how heart attack symptoms can look different in seniors. He called emergency services immediately. That decision, it saved his life. What we learn from stories like Richard's is simple but powerful. Your body often whispers before it screams. It gives you clues. It offers you a narrow window to act before real damage sets in. Waiting for a dramatic, unmistakable Hollywood heart attack moment could cost you precious time, and possibly your life. So if you ever feel unusual chest pressure, shortness of breath, sudden fatigue, or even a nagging discomfort that just doesn't sit right, stop. Don't push through. Don't assume it's nothing, especially if you have risk factors like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, a smoking history, or a family history of heart disease. These symptoms are not something to brush off. Take the time now to learn and mentally rehearse what these signs feel like. Talk to your doctor about your risks. Keep this knowledge close so that, in a moment of doubt, you don't second-guess yourself. Because here's the truth. When it comes to surviving a heart attack alone, recognition is everything. It's the first and most powerful choice you'll ever make, and it could save your life. Number 2, call emergency services immediately. This is not something to think twice about. The moment you even suspect that you might be having a heart attack, you need to pick up the phone and dial 911 or your country's emergency number without delay. This is your lifeline. This one action could be the single most important decision you make in your entire life. Here's the thing, most people hesitate. They try to wait it out. They convince themselves it might just be indigestion, anxiety, or fatigue. But heart attacks don't care about your doubts. And time is not your friend in this moment. The longer you wait, the more damage your heart endures, and the less chance you have at full recovery. So let's be absolutely clear. Do not wait for your symptoms to pass. Do not try to drive yourself to the hospital. And please, don't worry about whether or not you're overreacting. Emergency responders would much rather show up to find out you're okay than arrive too late. Why? Because when you make that call, you're not just asking for help, you're activating a life-saving system. Paramedics bring with them oxygen, medications like aspirin or nitroglycerin, defibrillators, and experience. They know what to do the second they see you, and they start treatment on the spot. In fact, in many areas, EMTs alert the hospital en route, so a cardiac team is waiting when you arrive. That alone can save critical minutes. Compare that to driving yourself or having a loved one drive you. What happens if your symptoms suddenly get worse? You could pass out behind the wheel. You could crash. Even if you make it to the hospital, you've lost time your heart muscle may not have. Now, let me share a story that drives this home. Linda, a 78-year-old widow, once told me how she felt a strange pain in her shoulder one evening. Then came the cold sweat. Then nausea. She almost called her son, but remembered something her nurse had told her. Don't waste time. Call 911 first. Talk to family after help is on the way. She listened. When the paramedics arrived, they were able to begin treatment immediately, and later, her doctor told her that those few minutes likely saved her heart from severe damage. You don't need to be sure it's a heart attack. In fact, you probably won't be. That's what trained medical teams are for. Their job is to figure it out fast. And in that moment, it's better to be safe than sorry. If your symptoms ever leave you too weak to talk, most smartphones now include emergency call options even from a locked screen. Learn how yours works. Keep your phone close, especially if you live alone. Many devices also let you store medical information, your conditions, medications, allergies, so paramedics can see it instantly. Take 5 minutes today to set that up. It could save you tomorrow. Also, post a visible list of your emergency contacts and health info in your home, on the fridge, near your front door, or next to your bed. Make it easy for responders to find what they need. And if you live in a gated community or an apartment with a security system, think ahead. Can responders get in quickly? Do you have a plan to guide them to your door? Every second counts. Don't let a locked gate or hidden address delay help. Calling 911 isn't a sign of panic, it's a sign of wisdom. It's not just about getting help. It's about giving yourself the best possible chance to survive and recover. So when your body whispers that something isn't right, trust that instinct. Pick up the phone. Let the professionals take it from there. Because in a true emergency, fast action doesn't just make a difference. It is the difference. Number 3, chewing an aspirin slowly and deliberately. After you've called emergency services, there's one more action that could significantly tip the odds in your favor. It's simple. It's inexpensive. And it could mean the difference between life and death in the moments before help arrives. Chew an aspirin. Now, I don't mean swallowing it quickly with water or popping it into your mouth while pacing the room in panic. I mean sit down, stay as calm as you can, and chew it slowly and purposefully. Even if your hands are shaking, even if your thoughts are racing, that single act could help buy you precious time. Why? Because aspirin acts as a blood thinner. During a heart attack, what's actually happening inside your body is this. A clot has formed inside one of the arteries that supplies oxygen to your heart muscle. That blockage cuts off the oxygen supply, starving your heart tissue and causing damage by the minute. When you chew an aspirin, preferably a full 325 milligram uncoated tablet, the active ingredient enters your system faster than if you swallowed it whole. Chewing breaks the tablet down, allowing it to absorb quickly through the soft tissues in your mouth and your digestive tract. Within minutes, the aspirin starts thinning your blood, slowing the growth of the clot and, in some cases, helping restore limited blood flow. It's not a cure, it's not a replacement for medical care, but it is a medically backed, time-tested intervention that gives you a better chance of making it to the hospital with less damage to your heart. That's huge. Now here's something important. If all you have on hand is a coated or delayed-release aspirin, chew it anyway. Yes, those take longer to dissolve, but in an emergency, any aspirin is better than none. The only time you should skip this step is if you know you're allergic to aspirin, or your doctor has specifically told you not to take it due to blood thinners or serious bleeding conditions. Let's take a moment to look at Joe's story. A 72-year-old retired engineer who found himself facing the unthinkable one morning. He was alone in his kitchen when a strange pressure crept into his chest, then radiated to his jaw. His palms began to sweat and a sense of dread washed over him. But Joe remembered a conversation with his cardiologist who told him, if anything feels off, chew an aspirin and call for help. He did just that. He called emergency services, reached for the aspirin bottle he kept in a drawer, and chewed one tablet while staying seated and calm. When he arrived at the hospital, his cardiologist told him that decision likely helped reduce the size of the clot and spared more of his heart muscle. What Joe did wasn't luck, it was preparation. And preparation is key. Keep aspirin in easy-to-reach places throughout your home, your nightstand, kitchen drawer, even a small pill container in your wallet or bag. Make sure family members know where it is too, in case they ever need to assist you. Check the expiration date from time to time and replace old tablets as needed. This isn't a trendy health tip. It's a protocol followed by first responders, endorsed by doctors, and proven through decades of research. When done immediately after calling for help, chewing an aspirin is one of the most effective steps you can take to protect your heart during a suspected attack. It may be one of the smallest pills in your cabinet, but in a moment of crisis, it's one of the most powerful tools you have. Prepare now. Know where your aspirin is. Know that it can make a difference. And if you've made it this far in the video, I'd love to know, was this tip something you already knew or did it surprise you? Type 2 in the comments if you're still with me and learning something valuable today. Number 4, sit or lie down to protect your heart. Once you've called emergency services and chewed an aspirin, your next move isn't physical, it's stillness. One of the most powerful things you can do in the minutes before help arrives is to stop moving. That's right, minimize all activity immediately. Your goal now is to reduce your heart's workload as much as possible. It's fighting hard for you, and every little effort you don't make gives it a better chance of pulling through. So what does that look like? Find a safe, stable place and sit or lie down. Don't tidy up, don't walk around trying to get yourself together, and definitely don't pace around in panic. Even something as simple as walking across the room can increase oxygen demand, and that's exactly what your struggling heart cannot afford. If possible, sit upright with your back supported, against a wall, a sturdy chair, or the headboard of a bed. Let your feet rest flat on the ground, and allow your arms to fall naturally by your sides or into your lap. This posture eases the load on your cardiovascular system and encourages more efficient blood flow. Now, if you begin to feel lightheaded or faint, shift to lying down on your left side, with your head slightly raised using a pillow or folded blanket. This position helps maintain circulation to your heart and brain, while also reducing your risk of choking in case of nausea or vomiting, 2 symptoms that can accompany a heart attack. Whatever you do, avoid lying completely flat unless a medical professional instructs you otherwise. For many people, flat positioning can make breathing more difficult. And remember, breathing matters. Relax your shoulders, keep your breath slow and even, and resist the urge to clench or tense up. Stress makes your heart beat harder, which is the last thing you want. This is where mindset comes into play. Many people feel a strange pressure to do something while waiting. Maybe it's embarrassment, maybe it's denial. Some feel guilty calling for help and then just sitting there feeling helpless. But here's what you need to hear. Doing nothing is doing something. In fact, it's doing exactly what your heart needs, a break. Let me share a real-life example. Alice, 81, was alone at home making breakfast when she suddenly felt a heavy tightness in her chest and broke into a cold sweat. Her instinct was to power through. She thought she'd clean up the kitchen first, maybe rest later. But then she remembered her doctor's words. If you think it's your heart, stop, sit, breathe. And that's exactly what she did. She eased into her recliner, supported her back with a cushion, and stayed as still and calm as possible. When paramedics arrived, they noted her blood pressure had remained stable and her oxygen levels weren't dangerously low, two signs that likely prevented a more serious outcome. This step, this simple pause, isn't passive, it's powerful. It creates space for your body to stabilize and for the medical team to meet you in a better state. It's part of a trio, calling for help, chewing aspirin, and protecting your heart through stillness. To make this easier in the future, take a moment now to plan. Identify comfortable, safe spots in your home where you could sit or lie down in a crisis. Choose a sturdy chair, a corner of your couch, or even a favorite recliner. If you're out in public, sit on a bench or even the ground if you must. Avoid chairs without back support. Slouching can make breathing harder. And if you're with someone when this happens, ask for their help to steady you. Let them be your calm when your body feels anything but. Their reassurance will help keep you grounded. Remember, this isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing. Giving your heart the best possible chance to keep going until help arrives. Slow your breathing, trust the process, and know that you've already taken 3 of the most important steps you can take to survive. Number 5, unlock your door for emergency responders. In the middle of a medical emergency, it's easy to overlook the simplest things. But sometimes, it's those small actions that can make the biggest difference. If you've already called 911, chewed your aspirin, and are sitting or lying down to conserve energy, there's one more critical step. If you're physically able to do so, unlock your front door. At first glance, this might not seem like a big deal, but imagine this. Paramedics arrive quickly. They're ready with oxygen, medication, and possibly life-saving equipment, but there's a locked door between them and you. Every second they spend figuring out how to get in is time lost, and in the case of a heart attack, that delay could cost you your life. Sure, emergency responders can break down doors if needed, but doing so adds stress, delays care, and could put you in more danger. You might be startled, fall, or worsen your symptoms in the confusion. Even a 30-second delay can be significant when your heart is starved for oxygen. That's why, if you're still conscious and strong enough to walk a few steps safely, unlocking the door is one of the smartest things you can do. Let's take a real example. Paul, a 76-year-old retiree, began experiencing crushing chest pain one afternoon while home alone. He did everything right, called emergency services, chewed his aspirin, sat down, and then, just before settling in, he walked to the front door and unlocked it. It only took a few seconds, but when the paramedics arrived, they entered immediately. No broken door, no wasted time. His care started right away, and according to the paramedics, that tiny bit of foresight may have saved his life. So how can you prepare now before something happens? Start by checking your front door. Can it be unlocked easily from the inside, even if you're dizzy or under stress? Do you use a deadbolt that needs a key, or can it be turned quickly with a latch? Is your house number visible from the street, even at night? If you live in a gated community or apartment building, make sure there are clear directions on how to reach your unit. You can also inform a trusted neighbor about your emergency plan. If you live alone or have mobility issues, consider using a medical lockbox, a secure box that holds a spare key and can be accessed by paramedics with a code provided during the 911 call. They're inexpensive, easy to install, and give first responders access if you're unable to reach the door. Another great option is a smart lock. Many models today allow you to unlock the door from your phone or even share access with emergency contacts in real time. If you're not comfortable with tech, ask a family member to help set it up. These modern tools can bridge the gap when your body can't. But let's be clear, if you feel too weak, unsteady, or disoriented, do not risk getting up. Your safety comes first. Stay seated, breathe slowly, and focus on giving the 911 dispatcher clear information about your location, symptoms, and how responders can find you. In some areas, paramedics are trained to break through barriers safely. But if there's a way to avoid that step without putting yourself in danger, take it. Think of this not just as unlocking a door, but as opening a path for help to reach you faster. It's a quiet, courageous act of preparation. You're telling the emergency team, I'm doing everything I can, now it's your turn. And when they do arrive, there'll be no barriers. Just you, ready to receive the care you need without delay. If this part of the video opened your eyes to something you hadn't thought about before, comment 3 below. I read every message, and your awareness might just inspire someone else to make a plan too. Number 6. Use your phone's speaker and medical ID features. In a medical emergency, your smartphone becomes more than just a communication device. It becomes a lifeline. And knowing how to use two simple features, the speakerphone and the medical ID, can dramatically improve the speed, accuracy, and effectiveness of the care you receive. Let's start with the speakerphone. When you're experiencing a heart attack, the last thing your body needs is extra effort. Holding your phone to your ear may seem minor, but it can strain already compromised circulation, especially if you're short of breath or feeling faint. Instead, hit the speaker button. This frees your hands and lets you sit still, breathe slowly, and concentrate on staying calm while still following the dispatcher's instructions. More importantly, it allows the 911 operator to hear everything. If you suddenly go silent, they can still listen for signs, your breathing, movement, or even a shift in tone. These subtle sounds can give vital clues about your condition, helping the dispatcher relay crucial updates to the emergency crew en route. And hearing their voice clearly, without pressing a phone against your ear, offers a kind of emotional anchor, a steady voice guiding you through the storm. Now let's talk about the second tool, your phone's medical ID. Most smartphones today have a built-in emergency profile feature that can be accessed even from a locked screen. It holds essential information: your name, date of birth, blood type, allergies, medical conditions, medications, and emergency contacts. It's like a virtual medical bracelet, but with much more detail. This information is especially vital if you lose consciousness before help arrives. Paramedics often check a patient's phone for a medical ID. It's one of the first things they do when you're unresponsive. And what they find there can make the difference between life-saving care and a dangerous mistake. Take the story of Susan, a 79-year-old woman who had a known allergy to penicillin. One day, she called 911 after feeling chest pain, but collapsed just minutes before help arrived. Thankfully, she had set up her medical ID. The paramedics accessed it through her phone, immediately saw her allergy and her diabetes diagnosis, and avoided medications that could have triggered a fatal reaction. They also contacted her daughter, whose number was saved in the profile. That preparation likely saved Susan's life. And the best part, setting up your medical ID takes less than 5 minutes. If you're using an iPhone, go to the Health app, tap Medical ID, and fill in the fields. Make sure Show When Locked is turned on. On Android devices, look under Emergency Information in your settings. It works similarly. Add as much detail as you can. medications, allergies, chronic conditions, your doctor's name, and your emergency contact. This isn't just for the tech-savvy. It's for anyone who wants to take one small step today that could have a massive impact tomorrow. So here's the key takeaway. Your phone isn't just a tool to call for help. It can speak for you when you can't. Use the speaker to stay hands-free and calm. Set up your medical ID so first responders can make the right decisions the moment they reach you. These features may be quiet. They don't beep or flash or demand your attention. But in a moment of crisis, they can bridge the gap between confusion and clarity, between delay and immediate action. If you found this tip helpful, or if you've already set up your own medical ID, drop a 4 in the comments. You might just inspire someone else to do the same. And in the world of senior health, that kind of ripple effect saves lives. Number 7, slow your breath to steady your heart. In the chaos of a heart attack, one of the scariest parts isn't the physical pain, it's the panic. Your chest tightens, your pulse races, your thoughts spiral. You might feel like your body is slipping out of your control. But in this overwhelming moment, you still have one tool you can use to take back control: your breath. No, deep breathing won't stop a heart attack. It won't remove a clot or reverse damage. But what it can do is help your body avoid crashing into full-blown panic or shock. And that matters more than most people realize. Because when fear spikes, so does adrenaline. And with it comes a racing heart, rising blood pressure, and irregular rhythms that can make your condition worse. But if you can slow your breathing, even just a little, you activate something powerful inside your body. The parasympathetic nervous system. It's your natural calming switch. It tells your body, you're not in danger, you're safe. And that simple message can lower your heart rate, steady your oxygen flow, and keep you from tipping into a more dangerous state while waiting for help. Here's a technique that works, and you don't need any training to do it. Inhale gently through your nose for a count of 4. Let your lungs expand, but don't force it. Hold that breath for just a second or 2. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 full counts, as if you're letting go of tension with every breath out. Repeat that rhythm. Focus on the counting. Let it anchor you in the moment. This method, sometimes called box breathing or paced breathing, isn't about perfection. It's about rhythm and calm. Your goal isn't to breathe deeply, but to breathe steadily. And that can be your lifeline in the storm. Let me share a story that proves just how powerful this can be. Frank, an 83-year-old grandfather, once felt a wave of pressure across his chest while gardening. As shortness of breath kicked in, fear started taking over. But then he remembered a breathing technique his cardiologist had taught him during a routine checkup. He sat down, closed his eyes, and began that slow, counted breathing. 4 in, 2 hold, 6 out, over and over. When paramedics arrived, they found that his vitals, though stressed, were more stable than expected. He hadn't panicked. He hadn't hyperventilated. He gave his heart space to hold on. Later, Frank said something that stuck with me. I just kept saying in my head, breathe, stay calm, stay alive. And that's the message I want you to remember. In the middle of a crisis, when everything feels out of your control, your breath is something you can manage. It won't stop the heart attack, but it will keep your body steady while help is on the way. It will give you an edge, the clarity, the calm, the endurance to make it through. And here's the key. You don't have to wait for an emergency to start using this. Practice it now. Try it in the quiet moments before bed, while sitting in your favorite chair, or when life throws you little stresses. That way, when a real crisis comes, your body will already know what to do. So as we wrap up this guide on how to survive a heart attack when you're alone, remember this. It's not just about what you do in those moments, it's how you prepare for them. Learn the signs, call for help, take aspirin, stay still. Unlock the door, use your phone, and breathe. Your breath is more than just oxygen, it's focus. It's control, it's survival. Now I'd love to hear from you. What tip from this video stood out the most? Was it the breathing, the aspirin, the speakerphone trick? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your insight could help someone else prepare for a moment they never thought they'd face. And if you found this video helpful, please take a second to like, share, and subscribe. This channel is all about helping seniors live smarter, safer, and stronger. So stay ready, stay hopeful, and we'll see you in the next video.